Hey everybody, JSquared, John Jeremy here. It's time for another round of questions and answers. It's a miracle. It's 3 episodes in a row that we're able to get these questions in and get them answered to you in a proper amount of time. So hopefully we can keep the streak going here. We've got, I believe, 8 questions lined up, so let's get right to it. The first question comes from NoNoGoberboy13, and he asks, what is the most hilarious outburst of laughter because of a game flub or an unexpected surprise that made you laugh the longest? Wow, no. That's really hard to say because I find entertainment in a lot of things while I'm playing these games, and I'm sure many of you can probably pinpoint a particular time frame that made you laugh because I was laughing as well. I've heard very often that there's a bit of contagious laughter that goes on sometimes in my recordings, so your guess is as good as mine, really. I would have to say though that I think, you always have fun when things come at you randomly and unexpectedly, and I think the very first time I encountered something like that was during the first Crusader Kings 2 campaign. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Even before then, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the very first crazy thing that happened to me was in a game series was back during the original Silent Hunter 5 recording all those years ago. I remember we had just started recording, and I think it was like episode 2 or episode 3. We're still trying to get a doc. I mean, this was back when the videos for YouTube could be no more than 15 minutes in length, so we were forced to cut short these episodes as we went, and we were just trying to get out a doc. And the first thing that randomly happens is we crash into another ship. Our submarine crashes into another ship. And I think that was the first kind of surprise moment I ever saw for our channel here. And obviously, almost 8 years later, there have been plenty others along the way. I think that, again, Crusader Kings 2 gives a great number of them, but there are plenty of other games as well that have given us plenty of surprises that I feel we've thoroughly enjoyed. But the most contagious or the most hilarious outburst, probably, I mean, I have to pinpoint it properly, but probably when we were in Scotland and there's 2 points. The first point was when we became the homosexual dwarf Polish Scotsman king. I remember that one. And then when we had managed to get ourselves unexcommunicated, and then immediately after we were re-excommunicated. Those are some pretty funny moments for me personally that I can remember off the top of my head. But like I said, I'm sure that there are plenty others. I think that's a good question for everybody else in the watching this right now is, what was your favorite hilarious moment that you've witnessed on this channel? And it could be from recent times or it could be from years past. I'd love to know what you thought was funny that we had to encounter in game. So those are mine, and there are only a few. There are plenty others. But thank you for the question, No. Our next question comes from Jacob Mackey. He actually has 2 questions here, so we'll go with the first one. With you playing CK2, would you ever continue your empires into other Paradox games? And Colton Maddox also had this question as well, so I wanted to make sure that I answered this one at least. So I remember back when we had started the Holy Roman Empire campaign. This was back in, I think, 2013 or 2014, one of those years. And we started the Holy Roman Empire campaign, and my thought process there was to convert that campaign into a campaign into Europa Universalis. What I came to find out is that honestly don't enjoy Europa Universalis as much as I enjoy Crusader Kings, truthfully. And because of that, I don't think that we will, honestly. Europa Universalis to me is still, you know, a great game for those that enjoy that style of gameplay. But I'm less about the nations themselves and more about the people within them. I love the stories we create with our characters in Crusader Kings 2, and you don't get that sort of feeling in Europa Universalis 4. Not to knock it, it's still a great game for those interested in that style, but it's just, you know, I've tried it a couple different times, and it's just not my taste. It's not. I've tried other Paradox games as well. I've tried Hearts of Iron, I've tried Stellaris, and it's always Crusader Kings 2 that brings me back into the fold. Now, I am super excited for Imperator. That's the newest game that's being developed right now by Paradox Development Studios, and I'm really excited by what it brings to the table because it's kind of a combination, from what I can see, of a little bit of CK2, a little bit of Europa Universalis, and a little bit of like Total War-esque gameplay mechanics. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. Hopefully it'll be out this year. I know I think that's what the plan is. But you know, if it takes them a while longer, then, you know, all the more power to them. I want to make sure that it's a good game before it's released. Hopefully one day we'll be able to play a beta, you know, version of it or showcase it somehow on the channel. But Imperator is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. I'll take a look again at other Paradox games as well. Stellaris, I feel, is the closest for me to becoming a full series. I've dabbled with it here and there, and I really like the Star Trek mod for it. I forget the name of it off the top of my head right now. I think it's called New Horizons is what I want to say it's called. But I really like combining Star Trek and that together. I feel like it's like a perfect fit. So we'll see about that one. But I'm sorry that I personally don't think that I'll be continuing a CK2 campaign specifically into another Paradox game. Our next question from Jacob, though, comes in and he asks, would you do a lot of games with webcams in the future? And I wanted to take a moment to talk about this. In the past, I had always been afraid, you know, to step in front of a camera. It was the privacy of recording a video behind the scenes and you only hearing my voice appealed to me in a way that I guess both satisfied my personal desire of wanting to entertain, but also my, you know, I guess my personal fear of being seen. And over the past years, I've obviously gotten over it. I've been in front of a camera more and more frequently, and obviously now I'm in front of a camera every week answering these questions. So do I think that they translate into more webcam-based games or games where we'll open up the webcam? Potentially. I think what it comes down to for me and the game is, how does my personal reaction complement the gameplay? And does it detract at all from what you are already watching? I look at something like Crusader Kings 2, and there are moments where, you know, I think to myself, man, it'd be nice if I had the webcam on for like a crazy situation that occurs. But that UI is already so filled up that I wouldn't want to add anything else to it. And that's what I'd be doing by adding my own face in the middle of all that. But certainly there are games that definitely you could benefit from webcam and webcam reactions, I'd gather. Another game that I thought would have been interesting to do it on, truthfully, was the visual novel that we did for the channel, The Fruit of Grisaia. Just so you could just see, like, I remember when I was recording that game that I was trying so hard to stay in character as Yuji that there were just certain moments and certain circumstances that would appear on the screen that, you know, you have to like face palm or roll your eyes or, you know, just just have to hold back the laughter that you know you feel welling up within you. So in a game like that, it might be nice to do like a webcam, or a game where uncertainty is always around and you don't know what could happen, I guess a battle royale type game, I would say, where you know you could see my concentration, you can see my frustration, so on and so forth. So is there a potential? Absolutely, there is definitely a potential. It would have to be the right game, and it would have to be the right time. But I'm not gonna say no to it. You know, I can assume only by your question, Jacob, that you want to see more of this. And first off, I question your sanity, but you know, we'll consider it. We'll consider it. Thank you for the questions, Jacob. Our next question comes from Caltersoft, and Caltersoft asks, are you going to be streaming 7 Days to Die with subscribers again? And he references a point a couple years back where I think it was Christmas, around that time frame, where I did a 7 Days to Die live stream over on, I forget where I did it. I think it was Twitch, it might have been YouTube, might have been Mixer, one of them. And we did a live stream, and we made an open world multiplayer map, and people could join in and participate. So he brings this up. I don't know, Caltersoft. I don't know. I mean, I've obviously kept track of the game. 7 Days to Die just recently released Alpha 17.1 now, so they're adding more content into the game. I think the bigger question would be, are you planning on playing games with subscribers in the future? And that's where the I don't know comes into play. My schedule, as it stands, is extremely limited. I've broken it down in a way where I'm able to plan out these recordings and plan out my work schedule, and plan out you know other things, other errands that I need to or want to take the time to do. Exercise, you know, for example, right now it is super important to me. So I can't say for certainty that it will happen. I would love to be able to do it, though. I think that it's great to be able to play with you all. Will I stream it? I mean, that's a separate question altogether. I think with a game like 7 Days to Die, or I mentioned this in a previous video, like Fallout 76, one of the things that I would love to do would be to do a role-play series. And I think 7 Days to Die is a great example of this, where you can do like a role-play series, but everyone has to commit to that role-play series, and that's where, you know, you get maybe some consternation or some dissatisfaction. I don't know. Everyone has to be aligned to the same goal. And if I was going to stream it, that's what I would want everyone to be aligned to the same goal. If you wanted to just play a game, just play a game. But there has to be, I feel, a purpose to what we want to do in the future when it comes to these sort of things. I haven't really live streamed at the moment, and I don't plan to right now. I'm just trying to get back into things with the channel itself, trying to, I guess, resuscitate it, as it were. But I have no problem, you know, playing games with people. I think we'll do more targeted collaborations first. You know, invite people that, you know, we've collaborated with in the past, whether it's, you know, All Dragon, Lethal, Grimmeth, SKS, you know, and then we'll expand from there and see what we can do. But I appreciate the question, Caltersoft. I do, and know that it is in the back of my mind, for sure. Our next question comes from Alpaca Flinger. It's 2 questions in a row for Alpaca. What is your favorite type of cereal? It sounds like a simple question, and it is. It's cinnamon life. It's not regular life. It's cinnamon life. The second favorite would be Captain Crunch. Third favorite would be Cocoa Pebbles. Fourth favorite would be Frosted Flakes. Fifth favorite would be regular Cheerios, and I can just go on and on. I like cereal. In fact, I've joked in the past that, you know, bless my parents. I'm a very picky eater at heart, and I really don't like trying new things. And I don't really eat very well as a whole when it comes to like, make sure you eat your fruits, make sure you eat your vegetables. I don't really do that. So for me and for them, trying to get food for me was very difficult. But I took to cereal very easily. And I was, I had cereal, I had milk, almost a constant stream of it when I was a kid, and I was happy. I was a happy camper. I could have cereal morning, afternoon, night, breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. I can have it all day, and I would be perfectly content, truthfully. And to this day, I can eat a bowl of cereal any time of the day and just be happy. I don't need like a $20 meal or $30 meal or anything like that. You give me a bowl of cereal and some milk, I'm good. I am good. Now, of course, is it the most filling thing in the world? Maybe, maybe not, depending on like how much you're gonna eat of it. But I enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. So there you go, alpaca. Don't judge me on the cereal, by the way. Cinnamon Life is amazing. You let it sit there, you let it soak up in the milk, and then just nice and slightly mushy, not too mushy, but just slightly enough, so that way it just kind of glides down the throat, and then the cinnamon milk leftovers, delicious. Pretty much the same for anything else for the other cereals that I've mentioned. Yeah, delicious. Next question comes from Chris Hennington, and Chris writes, "Are we gonna see any RimWorld?" So RimWorld, for those that don't know, is a game developed by Lucian Studios, I believe is the name, or how you pronounce it. And this was in alpha and beta for many years. I actually owned the game. I owned it. I purchased it back before it was even available on Steam. And I've been watching it progress and progress. And it's reached a point now where it's actually released. It's version 1.0, and it is kind of a build a colony simulation with random elements that are attached to it, and it's definitely something that has been on my radar for a couple of years now. Actually, that and Prison Architect is also a game that's been on my radar, and the two, the character designs, they look very similar, but RimWorld in particular has the potential to tell a story, and you know how much I love stories, because you can kind of see your characters progress over time. They have a mind of their own in many different ways, so a circumstance that falls upon them for one thing can lead to a chain reaction, a domino effect on all the other colonists in that base. So it's definitely something that I have looked at previously, and while I can't commit to a RimWorld series right now, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we saw a RimWorld series. And of course, if we did do a RimWorld series, you guys would all be invited to participate as well. The same way how we're doing Bomber Crew at the moment, where we're adding in viewer names. My colony would be your colony, and we'd grow it and kill it together. Next question comes from 5 Blackout 55. And this was an interesting question too, because it made me think. He asks, how do your family, friends, co-workers, and bosses feel about you having a gaming channel? Any collab potential with them? So I've talked about this a little bit in the past when it came to my work with Microsoft and how that kind of affects me in my day-to-day, but I never really talked about like how my friends or coworkers and all that, how they feel about it. So first off, I never really dive into it per se. I kind of just as it comes up, and usually, truthfully, at this point now, somebody else mentions it first, and then I have to kind of answer the questions that go along with that usually. So, I mean, my coworkers are all cool with it. a few of them have asked me questions about, how do they start their own gaming channels, or how do they start their own YouTube series. They want to know how they can do their own thing, and I'm all the happy to help them with doing that. I think it's super cool that I'm able to do this, in the first place, and the fact that others think that as well, and that could be putting me on, but I choose to believe they're not, and they're actually intrigued by it, is awesome, to me, and it makes me feel pretty good, honestly, because this is a huge part of my life. I've done this now for 8 years, close to 8 years, and it's something that I feel like, were I to put the time and commitment to do this 100%, I feel like we would do well. So I think that discussing it with my friends and coworkers is super cool. I have had to talk about this with my superiors as well, simply because they want to know specifics about what I am doing and how that affects themselves as well. So my last boss, not my current one right now, but my last boss has actually admitted to me that he has watched my videos in the past and has used me as a sleep aid from time to time, which is a little awkward, but I mean, I guess I have the voice for it. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they can't stop me at the moment right now, so they could in the future, I guess. I don't know. As far as potential collaborations with anybody, really, I'd like to keep my personal life and my YouTube life separate for the time being. If they wanted to join on the YouTube train and do their own channel, all the more power to them, and like I said, I'd help them with that. But I think that we've got a good thing going on right here, and yeah, I wouldn't want to mix that work with this work. I think it's good to have at least some boundaries there. But it's a good question, Blackout. Absolutely. As far as just general friends and family, I mean, my parents. I've been doing this for 8 years now, so obviously my parents are aware of this, and other relatives. They don't really understand it, but all they know is that I put videos online and somehow I get paid for it. So they're okay with it on that point, at least. I don't think they really understand what it means to have somebody like view your video from across the world. Like, I see the data that's on the analytics page for this channel, and it astounds me sometimes that I can see that there are people in Europe and in Asia and in Australia that are watching my content. That's so amazing to me, because it's such a humbling experience to be able to say, like, somebody across the world knows of me. They don't have to know everything about me, but they know of me, and that's awesome. Yeah, so hopefully I didn't ramble on too much with that answer, but yeah. The Shocking Mozark has the next question here. Can you play the new Valkyria Chronicles game? The previous game you did was definitely the best walkthrough you did. I loved Valkyria Chronicles, the first one, the first game. I've never played 2 or 3, unfortunately, because they weren't on home console. They were on PSP. I think even the third one wasn't even released in the United States. So the fourth one was released just recently for both PlayStation and for PC. So again, another game that's definitely on my radar. I think what I love about Valkyria Chronicles is even though it is a linear-based story, like you are set on your path and there's no deviation from it, how we get to that story is something that I felt was pretty unique, and Of course, we added our own flavor to it. Welkin, I'm sorry that I gave you a fish fetish, but you know, you needed a little bit of spicing up there. So, yeah, obviously Valkyria Chronicles 4, I'd love to do. I actually don't even own the game yet, so I'll have to work on that first, but definitely something that's on the list of games to play. There are plenty of other games on that list too, so we'll get there. We'll get there in due time. And those are our questions for this episode here. I hope that, like I said, I didn't ramble too long, but I wanted to make sure that I managed to get to each one of them. If you have questions of your own, be sure to add them in the comments of this video here, and I look forward to answering them next week. Until next time, this is JSquared John Jeremy signing out, saying so long and take care.